So a few weeks back, I was on YouTube and I came across a video clip of the Wilfred Owen poem Dulce et decorum est. Wilfred Owen was one of the great poets of the Great War, the First World War. And in this poem, he writes about a German assault attack on the British trenches, which he presumably witnessed the aftermath of. Where the Germans are using mustard gas or chlorine gas, and Wilfred Owen writes this very graphic poem about the impact of this gas attack. It's very vivid, brutal, frankly. Of all the Great War poems, it's probably, for me, of all the ones I've read, it really is amongst the most gruesome, horrible and graphic in its detail. And basically what he says is, so the phrase Dulce et decorum est, it's actually Dulce et decorum est Pro Patria Mori. A Roman poet by the wonderful name of Horace, in the 1st century AD or whenever, at some point in the time of the Romans, writes this poem extolling the virtues of dying for Rome, how wonderful it is. And people would, during the time of the Great War, would toast the idea of, Dulce et decorum est Pro Patria Mori. It is sweet and fitting to die for your country. Wilfred Owen writes this poem and basically says, come and see what I've witnessed. Come and see men drowning on their own internal fluids that this gas causes the lungs to disintegrate. Or even to survive that, blindness. You may have seen images from that period of soldiers walking, holding the guy in front of him because he's blinded by the gas. Absolutely horrific. And in his poem, Wilfred Owen basically writes, he comes out with all this and said, next time you I'm paraphrasing here, but next time you're glorifying war, next time you're telling your children all these wonderful stories of how great it is to go marching off to war and all that, just read this, consider this, and reflect on the great lie, as he calls it, Dulce et decorum est Pro Patria Mori.
Decorum est pro patria mori. The old contemptibles lie at rest. Pro patria mori. Pro patria mori. Now our heroes lie at rest. Pro patria mori. But don't believe that age-old lie, that those young men went off to die. But Dulce et decorum est Pro Patria Mori.
So there you have it. So at the end of the war, the country goes through a spate of reflection, obviously, and memorialising the dead of the war. And in every town, village, city, from major cities to the tiniest hamlet, war memorials spring up. I think there's literally one recognised hamlet or village in the United Kingdom that didn't lose somebody in the Great War, just one. Remarkable. And many of these memorials were just given the title on them, Pro Patria, which is basically for fatherland. And of course, to the people at the time, that would have meant something. It would have been important to try and make sense of this great loss, of this great trauma, and extreme trauma. By somehow memorialising it and celebrating it and commemorating it. And whilst it meant something to them, I dare say for a lot of the surviving soldiers, and Wilfred Owen didn't survive, he was killed in action just literally at the end of the war, I think a week before the armistice was signed, Owen was killed. But a lot of these survivors, I suspect that idea of commemorating this pro patria idea, this glory, the glory is dead, would have probably stuck in the claw a little bit. And I suspect many of them would have been left thinking, as perhaps we think today, was this a war worth fighting? Was it worth the cost? Who knows?
Dulci et decorum est pro patria Mori. Now our heroes lie at rest. Pro Patria Mori. But don't believe that age-old lie that those young men marched off to die. For Dulci et decorum est Pro Patria Mori. Dulci et decorum est Pro Patria Mori. Offer words of thankfulness Pro Patria Mori. Hear their voices from the grave. Don't forget them what they gave. Dulci et decorum est Pro Patria Mori. Pro Patria Mori. Pro Patria Mori.